It's not a Thursday. It's a Friday.
No, it's not.
It's my fault that we didn't go live yesterday. Sorry, Maeve. I apologize for that. I was at the beach. I was on vacation for the first family vacation. Welcome to the Ultra Live Show. We'll get into the other topics in a minute. I was at my first vacation in almost 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah, which was dope. We went to the east coast of Florida. So I'm in Tampa, but we went over to the east coast of Florida to a little place called New Smyrna Beach, which is located right in between Daytona and Cocoa, if you guys, or Cape Canaveral, if you know where that is. And it was great. I hate the beach. Hate it with a passion. Hate the sand. Hate suntan lotion. Hate salt water. Hate everything about it. But 2 things came out of it. Number 1, I got major brownie points with my wife because her happy place is the beach. And so she looked over at me, I think on the 2nd or 3rd day, and was just like, you know what? I'm proud of you. And I went, thanks, babe. I'm proud of you too. And number 2, I got to spend time with my family. And then I also got to spend time like playing video games by myself for a little bit. And
fun.
It was dope. But that's not what we came here to talk about. We came here to talk today about Ultra Live. Maeve, how was your week been, first and foremost?
It's been pretty good. I don't know if you can tell, but I have a little bit of a cold.
Yep.
So I've been having some like hot tea. I don't know. It's hard because it's the middle of summer and I'm like wanting hot drinks. So there's a little bit of, I don't know. It's hard because like I'm sweating, but I need some hot tea to like soothe my throat. So we're hanging in there. We're okay.
Okay.
And
well, as long as you're going to make it.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it through the weekend. It's gonna be good.
Awesome. In a couple of short seconds, we are gonna do some doggy show and tell. So stick around for that. I did have a quick recommendation for everybody before we get into the show, and my recommendation comes from the media side of things. Comes from television streaming in particular. Oh yeah. It is a show called For All Mankind. Have you watched it yet?
No, I've never even heard of it.
It is on Apple TV Plus, streaming now.
Okay.
I think they just hit the 4th season, I think. And it's... So basically, the premise is, what if the United States didn't make it to the moon first? What if Russia made it to the moon first? And so then there's kind of an alternate history thing that happens, and it's pretty great. The characters are great. Kind of the things that happen around it are great. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but there's like, it gets into some things, like not like controversial things, you know, like did we land on the moon or did we not land on the moon? Nothing like that. But it gets into like a lot of geopolitical things, which is what we kind of need to get into. There's like some weird alliances that are formed. I don't know. Highly recommend the show. If for no other reason that space is awesome. And it's really, really well done. It like starts in the 60s and then ends up, I think this season is now in the mid 80s, maybe all the way up into the 90s. Yeah. So For All Mankind, streaming now on Apple TV Plus. Do you have Apple TV Plus?
I do. Yeah, I'll have to look at it. It's always the one that kind of falls like on the back burner a little bit, except when like Ted Lasso comes out, which who knows when that will be.
Not soon enough. I think they're shooting right now, which is good.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah, but it's going to take a while because they, it has to go through like winter and all that other junk that happens in England because it's cold over there. I don't know if you knew this, but it gets stinking cold in the winter. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we are going to talk about a bunch of things today. Welcome to the Ultra Live Show, your source for all things not Ultra Live, apparently. We're going to talk about some things today that may confuse you and may astound you. And before we get to the main topic, Maeve and I wanted to do a bit of show and tell. We have been talking so much about our animals and about our pets on the show, but also just in our own personal lives. And so we wanted to do a little bit of show and tell with each other and also with you, the Ultra Live fam. So do you want me to start or do you want to start, Maeve? You pick.
You can start. Yeah, you can start. I'm excited because I got a sneak peek. So I want to finish watching those little puppy videos you were You're
They
showing me.
they are great. So I want to introduce you to my two puppies. The first one is, where are you? Here we go. We're gonna do this kind of old school as well. I'm just literally gonna flip through a bunch of pictures and we're gonna deal with it like that. So this is my dog Luna.
Oh my God.
This is her at the gym that we used to own. Oh, there she is. So my wife and I owned a gym, and that's little Luna. We got her when she was 2. There's Luna in the snow because it used to snow in Georgia. And she loved the snow. Like she just, this is the first time she had ever seen it, and then she couldn't get enough of it. She was just like bounding all over the place anytime we'd go. That's her after a haircut.
Oh my gosh. Wait, what kind is she? Is she like a mixed breed?
She's a Jack Russell mix. Yeah. She is more. There she is with her Michigan Wolverines jersey on. She was our pride and joy for a long, long time, and she still is. She got her when she was 2. We rescued her from the Humane Society when she was 2. She was a stray, but she also she had a home because she knew she was housebroken when we got her, and she knew like simple things like sit and stay. Well, she didn't really know stay, but she's extremely intelligent. Like she knows. You're gonna see in a minute. I don't know. Oh, there she is. That's the day we got her. It's a little blurry, but that's the day we got her. She was just so happy to be with people. She has forever been like ours, but particularly my wife and I's. There she is. Oh, she's so cute. And you can see she doesn't have any gray on her, but there she is. Yeah. So this was 2 years ago at Christmas, and if you can see here, she's got a lot of like gray and white going on. She's getting old. Little Christmas puppy. We were watching Iron Man, and then all of a sudden little Maggie enters the picture. We got Maggie. This is the night we got her. You could see in the background training pads, carpet spray, and then Maggie, who's only this big. This is like the annual Daddy bends down to say hello to the dogs picture. Luna couldn't figure out what to do with her for a little bit, and then she kind of protects her now. They're kind of sisters. Like they hate each other, but they love each other. You know how dogs are.
Totally.
And so Luna is a Jack Russell mix. Maggie is a Labradoodle. She's an F1B Labradoodle. We got her from a breeder, meaning that her dad, actually she's a double doodle. Sorry. Both of her parents were Labradoodles. So that means that she is equal parts Labrador and Poodle, but she's actually 100% Labradoodle. So she's like second generation, which is cool. She's also, there she is, like waiting for my wife to feed her.
Oh my gosh.
Just so freaking cute. Notice how small she is here. Yeah. She's like maybe 15 pounds. And then this is her when it's feeding time. We got her, and you can't hear what's going on. You can watch her drool because she's gross. So my wife will have to give her, this is after we started like lessons with her.
The drool, the little dribble.
And
is she waiting patiently?
Yeah, and then we have to say, okay, go to her. She started getting obedience lessons at this point, and so we were just training her. She's hilarious. She hadn't even had her first puppy cut yet. So she was probably 4 months old at this point. There's Luna wrapped up. You can see how much gray she has now, gray and white here. Yeah. She's so cute. And then now there's Maggie after her first cut.
Oh my gosh.
And so she's already bigger at this point. She's like 20 pounds at this point.
She's so wiggly. Like she's just like wiggling all over the place.
She is very wiggly. That's a good description for it. And then that's both of them just sitting. And now Maggie is bigger than Luna. This is probably a month and a half ago. This is them just waiting for Dad to do stuff. Waiting for me to play with that ball with them. And then there's Maggie, now 45 pounds on my side of the bed. This is where she sleeps. You can see there's a bed like right here. There's a bed right there. That's where she should sleep, but instead she sleeps here so that when I get out of bed to go to use the restroom at night, I step on her, and then it's unfortunate. And then this is Luna, and you can't tell, but she loves me. Like
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh,
And then Maggie's jealous.
yeah. Oh, Maggie gets super jealous. It's like, Dad, I want to play too. So anyway, those are my two dogs.
So cute. What made
Oh
you did Luna the name Luna come with her?
no, her name was Honey when we adopted her.
Okay.
And then Luna was a much better name.
Yeah, I like
I
that
wanted to
name.
call her Lola, but Jenna didn't like the name Lola, and so Luna stuck.
Yeah. What about Maggie?
Maggie was actually named by our youngest child. I didn't really have a name for her. We went and got her from the breeder. She was 11 weeks old. She was like one of the two left in the litter. I think it was a litter of 8. She was one of the two left. And we were playing with her, and immediately, like, that one picture of her like licking me in the face, like that. That was the
Yeah.
first night we got her, and like I bent down to say hello to her, and she did that same thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, we have to get her. So we took her home that night, and then when we got home, like we didn't really have a name for her, and then my youngest was holding her in the car ride home, and I have a picture of it somewhere, and he was just like, Maggie May Maglin, and I was like, you know what, buddy? Let's call her Maggie, and so
That's so cute.
Luna and Maggie. All right,
Cute.
your turn.
Okay,
So
my
this
turn.
adorable so and so
Yes.
here.
So this is Pippin. He does not look like that now. I wanted to start with a puppy picture. Yes. So Pippin Brooks, I guess.
Okay, Pippin like the show.
Pippin like The Hobbit.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, my family are big Tolkien, Lord of the Rings fans, and so
cool.
they wanted to do something with that. Our cousins have his brother, like from the same litter, and his name is Sam, like Pippin and Sam.
That's
Um,
great. Is there a Mary and a Frodo somewhere too?
no, there isn't.
Oh,
We liked we like didn't think Frodo fit
mm,
Pippin, so I don't know. At first, my dad was like, "That's too girly," but then it really fits him
totally.
because he is kind of like a little bit of a drama queen.
I like it.
Um, so when we got them, they were this really dark brown color, but as they've gotten older, they've turned into a really nice parchment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so this is when Pippin got into some sort of like so I think my dad was grilling something and so he had to put the grease like far out into the woods, but our dog Pippin found it and got all like greasy and I don't know, whatever he
I
was
love
grilling.
this.
And he showed up at the door looking like that. And he was just like, what?
I don't see anything
What
wrong with
who,
this.
who me? Who me?
He's a doodle, right? Golden doodle.
Yeah, so he's an Australian Labradoodle. I don't
Australian Labradoodle.
know. Yeah, I don't know any of the nitty gritty about the breeding. I think he's like fully Australian Labradoodle as well.
Hmm.
Like his mom was an Australian Labradoodle, and I think his dad was too. I only met his mom.
Hmm.
But yeah, so okay, so this is like probably the most recent. I probably took that
Oh,
in May, and I
okay.
just thought it was so cute. Like, see how light he's like very, very light, but they
Yeah.
used to be this like dark chocolate brown. So it's interesting how like um their color changes as they
Huh.
grow. But it wasn't like, oh, it's not like an old age thing. It was like once they were fully grown, it was a different color.
That's interesting.
Um yeah, and that's
Oh.
yeah. He has an underbite. His brother, who the cousin, who he has an even bigger underbite,
Oh.
and it was just so funny, like lopsided jaw almost. And it was so funny, like when we were looking into getting these dogs, my aunt kind of did a lot of the research, and she was asking the breeder like she really she didn't like it when dogs have underbites, and so she was asking like, is this gonna be like, do you think the puppies are gonna have big underbites? And the breeder was like, no, 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 not at all, not at all. And lo and behold, like all of our dogs have the underbite, but her dog has like the worst
Liar.
underbite. Absolutely. He's like Snaggletooth Central.
Oh,
Oh, but he's so cute. I mean, they both are. Pippin's so cute, and then Sam's so cute. I
so
didn't
do you
have a
have
picture.
an e-collar on them?
I think it's just one of the electric
Yeah,
fence
yeah, the
ones.
e-collar
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
There's these really, really like fancy ones that one of my oh yeah, that's him in front of the
He's
Christmas tree. I
he's
had to
awesome.
tie the bow. He's a very good boy.
Hmm.
Like he's very obedient. But he is obsessed with like my dad. Like my dad is like the alpha. Like we'll just stare at him
Yep.
all day
Yep.
lovingly. He honestly, Pippin like wouldn't give me the time of day, but because I kind of just like force my love upon him. But
Hmm.
he's very, very, very sweet. Like you can kind of just like hug him and lie all over him, and he doesn't. He just either he either he loves it or he just takes it.
Yep. Yep. And just like looks at you like, come on, dude, really?
He's like, yeah, he's like, really, this is what you're doing right now. But he's so sweet.
That's great.
He's still very puppyish. Like every now and then he'll just, get all excited. He has this one toy stuffed animal duck that it's like one of the like squeaky toys. And but every now and then for some reason that duck, like as soon as he gets it, he's like, okay, now it's time to play. Like he'll go find it in the toy bin, and it's like he's like a puppy
Yep.
again, and even though he just turned 10,
Oof.
so
He's getting
it's
old.
kind of, I know, but he's so mellow, but
Hmm.
then he's still so playful.
Hmm.
But what I was saying about the collars, I saw this really cool collar that it's like a app on your phone, and so no matter where you go, you can like make on the map on the app, you can like mark out the different
Hmm.
points,
Hmm.
like so you can take it, you can have like a electric fence situation wherever you go, and it's all based on the app. Anyway, I don't know what it's called, but our friend has that, and it's super
Oh
cool.
yeah, here you go. The GPS dog fence.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty nifty.
Huh. Holy jeez, for $400, I would assume so.
I mean, I don't know what brand it is, but it seems pretty,
Huh.
useful. If you get a use out of it and your dog is one to run
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
definitely look into it.
Yeah.
Our dog is too scared to go off.
Our our dog, she's kind of the same way. Maggie. Well, Luna will just like hang. Luna just this from the second we got her, she was just like off leash all the time. I mean, I would walk her on a leash just because I was afraid of other dogs running at her, but I could just do off leash with her since the day we got her. But Maggie, we thought we were gonna have to like be, hey, you're super on leash. We know you're like poodles are hunting dogs, yada yada yada.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like within the first month, she just like we don't even have a fence. We open the back door and they just go play outside. And even if she gets out like the front door, she'll just run around to the backyard and just like hang out there. And like, what are you doing, Maggie? Like, you have the freedom of the world. She likes to chase lizards out in the backyard. She likes to like hunt bugs in the backyard. She found a frog once, and so she's always searching for that frog. If every day I take her out there, she's just looking in the same places for that frog. It's like, Maggie, you killed that frog. That frog's not going to be there. We do have a shock collar for her,
Yeah.
not like the electric ones, but like the buzzing ones for
Yeah.
some of her. I mean, she just turned 1, so she's still a puppy, for training and all that, but we barely have to use it. So thanks for coming to our dog show and tell, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could go on and
I know.
on about the time I almost lost him, but
What?
he's all fine.
No, we can't talk about it now. We have no time. We're like,
We have no time.
yeah, we have no time. We have like other things we need to talk about because we have Ultra Live. We need to talk about Maeve. Come on, let's.
All right.
I'm gonna be the taskmaster today.
Focus.
So,
Focus.
speaking of Taskmaster and speaking of focusing, summer is almost over, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to be the
No.
harbinger of bad news here, but summer is quickly nearing its
Yeah.
finale, and we wanted to bring you some back to school ideas for Ultra Live. We've done this in the past where we've talked about Christmas ideas online, we've talked about Easter ideas online. What else have we talked about? It just in strict engagement ideas,
Christmas.
I think.
Yeah, we talked about like some Christmas, Easter, just like all year
Hmm.
round activities and ideas. But we like to kind of hone in on like the major
Yep.
events of each year.
Yep. And
you
so
can prepare for
right
them.
now, it is back to school. A lot of times churches don't have any clue what they're doing with student ministry online. And I totally get that, because there's a large majority of the church population that looks strictly at adult programming and what can we do for adult small groups and what can we do for adult event planning and all those other things. And we're missing a gigantic population of people, particularly students and youth, that are using the internet constantly, that would benefit from knowing how to be involved in community. And what better way to do community than a platform that is built for it, like Altar Live. And so we have, 7 tips here, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 different event ideas that we want to run through. We're not going to belabor the point on any of these. A lot of them are going to be up to your creativity as a host or a greeter or an event planner. Some of them are going to be used in the event space. Some of them are going to be used in meeting space, some in the lobby. It's going to be dependent, but ultimately we want you to engage your youth group, whether that's 2 kids or whether that's 200 kids. Does not matter. They need the same love and attention. They deserve it. And we want to help you do it. So anything I'm missing before I switch over to this next screen, Maeve?
No, I think it's good. We're
Cool.
good.
Okay. So we're going to go to our very first thing. And you might have seen it behind what we were doing with doggy playtime, doggy show and tell time. Our first thing is game night. And I think long and hard about this, about game nights and like, do you do just Among Us or do you do, like a video game like that? But there is value in the Altar Live platform in seeing each other face to face. And so what better way to get kids involved than hosting a game night? And we're talking about things like Kahoot, which I have pulled up here. Kahoot is great. It's a kind of a school thing. So kids use it in school. And so they'll know all about how it works. But what it also is kind of an online trivia platform. My kids use it for a lot of things. Kids can create their own Kahoots. This is how my kids are really adept at studying and doing flashcards. They'll create their own quizzes, and then they'll have random answers that are filling in, and then they'll match up answers, and it's their way of doing it. But there's also a way of doing almost a trivia night with these. So creating a Kahoot, starting it up in an Altar Live event, and then everybody, or an Altar Live meeting, and then everybody just kind of pops in, and then you pop into the Kahoot thing. You can see each other face to face as you're answering the Kahoot, since it's real time. And then boom, Bob's your uncle. Another thing is doing charades. Charades you can do. It's going to be a little tough with just kind of faces, and so it's going to have to be very minute and small. But another thing that I came across that I did with one of the digital communities that I pastor is this game called Spyfall. And what Spyfall is basically a game called Mafia, where you have a group of people that get together. You have one person who is the spy, and then you have a bunch of other people that have a location. And the spy is trying to guess where the location is. The people that have the location are trying to guess who the spy is. And it's legitimately, you pull it up on a web browser, and everybody can have their own web browser built open on one page or on their phone or whatever, and then be engaging with people, asking questions. And then the app, it's basically built all into this web app. You go to spyfall.app. It takes care of everything for you. It's really fun. We did it with a group of people a couple of weeks ago. It was a ton of fun. We're planning on coming back to it as well. Highly, and it's super easy to learn too. It takes like 3 or 4 minutes to learn. You'll have to play around to kind of get used to what's happening and kind of strategy, but everybody kind of gets it after that. And it's usually great. The rounds are super short, 6 to 10 minutes, nothing too long of a commitment. You do 3 or 4 rounds of this, and then you get your people involved in something else. Let's move on, Maeve.
Yeah, well, I had one question. Do you think both, like they could both work in the event space and in rooms or meetings, or do you think?
I think they'd better work in meeting spaces, honestly,
Okay.
because just like we are. So if I flip to an event, like I could jump into a camera, but like there's nothing that's going to be going on the main event screen here.
True.
Whereas if I'm in a meeting, essentially this is what a meeting would look like, outside of the backgrounds and stuff. You would then be able to see people face to face. You can get, hundreds of people into a meeting. So you can definitely get up to 12 people in your meeting room. And then once everybody else is ready to go, you open a web browser, and then boom, you're off and running.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right, that's good.
What else?
So the next one, this one would probably work better in the event space, and it would be a summer like missions recap. So I think that it's true for most churches that the summer is kind of a chiller time of year. People are going in and out with vacations, and some people are gone for the whole summer. So but there's still a lot happening. You know, with churches, you have your mission trips, you have the summer camps, you have VBS, you have all sorts of things. But then once everyone is finally back together at church again in the fall, it could be there could you could have a nice event where you give like a slideshow or like a VBS recap or a video about like the mission stories or what you've been up to this summer. And it would be great if you made a video, picture slideshow. You could do a lot of creative things with that in the event space because you could use the pre-event slides for your pictures. You could make a video for that you could upload or even live stream if you wanted to have like a panel discussion talking about what you were up to that summer. It just gives a really nice it closes out the summer really nicely because you have a nice ending event to be like, look at how much we accomplished, look how many much like look at the awesome things we did this summer, and here's some encouragement to continue that through the fall. So that could be a really nice event that you could have, and having it in the rows would be really helpful because having that face to face interaction is always so special during the events like this.
Awesome. I think it's a great idea, and it actually leads right into kind of the thing I can bring up then is doing an open house. So a lot of times what happens during these recap things is you'll get everybody together for an end of summer bash. You'll play games, you'll do whatever, you'll show a slideshow, you'll do some other things, and then you'll break parents off into like an open house of what to expect with what's going to be happening. And so you can lead people directly from your what am I thinking of, your slideshow, your whatever, directly into the lobby. And so I'm going to move us into the lobby real quick. And the lobby would be a great place for kind of an ask me anything with a youth leader. So have your youth leader sit at a table and title the table whatever you want to, this could be your youth leader table. And then I could sit at this table and then parents could come in and ask me questions, kind of do an ask me anything. This would be a perfect time to ask questions about the upcoming year, kind of the curriculum that's being planned for your students, et cetera, et cetera. It would also be cool to have a table open with like a small group, and we're going to talk about small groups in a second, but like small group leader chat, and have people pop in here and ask questions about what it means to be a small group leader. And then, have kids pop in and ask questions about like, hey, I've got this problem or this problem. This can also be handled in a room. So we have these rooms set up: prayer room, meet the pastor, and volunteer training. You can set whatever rooms up however you want to set it up. This would also work perfect, especially if you wanted to do a panel discussion. Now, the panel discussion is a little tougher in this instance. You have to prep your hosts just a little bit more, the people that are hosting the panel. But then what essentially you can do is you can have one of two things happen: open a room and do it in there, or go back into your event space and have your hosts and greeters in your event space act as question gatherers. Have them sit in the rows, have a host or greeter sit in a row, and if somebody actually has a question that they want to feed into your panel, then all you got to do is I would sit in this row. I'd have, Bobby Sue would pop. Bobby Sue is like a weird name, but Jimmy Lipper would sit in there and say, "Hey, I have a question about how much it's going to cost to go on the missions trip in the fall." Cool. I could feed that question. Me as the host could feed that question live to the people that are up on the event happening in your live stream right here. And then boom, they can answer that as well. What next?
Great. So the next one is ministry/small group fair. And this would probably be for the lobby, but you could also do it in rooms if you wanted. I just like the lobby settings because you have tables, and it almost serves as like when you're in person and you are going to a fair like this, it's like the little booths, and it adds a little bit more like one-on-one time with someone. And I think as fall rolls around, it almost becomes like a new chapter. There's a lot of new people coming to your church. Maybe there's like a new wave of like college freshmen. If you're
Hmm.
in a college town, it's like a great new start to the year. And there's probably so much that you're offering at your church that not everyone knows about. So this is a great opportunity for you to set up the little tables in the lobby to represent the ministries that you have, the kinds of small groups that you have, anything that you want to promote a little bit more just to get the word out. And I think this is a great way because people can hop around from table to table. It's low commitment, but it still gives them a chance to meet the people in your ministry and to get know a little bit more, so people aren't going in to your church completely blind, not knowing what kind of groups you offer, ministries you have. And so yeah, so you'd go in, name the table after said ministry, and let people just start coming to you. And if if they don't want to meet you at a table, you could always go through chat, or they could contact a host or greeter. um, but kind of putting your ministry out there, it is like a really good first step as back to school fall rolls around.
Absolutely. And the cool thing that builds off of kind of the open house thing as well is that most of these can happen at the same time. You could basically
Right.
just design one big gigantic event and have it be an hour long thing and flow right into this thing right here where your ultimate goal is community. Your ultimate goal is going to be a digital community inside of the larger church community. And this is how you get people kind of interested in small groups. You sell the idea. I say sell, and you know what I mean in the church world, quote unquote sell. You're not selling anything, but you are getting people to buy into the idea of digital community, and then letting your leaders sit there at the table, have somebody pop in, say, hey, I want to sign up. Hey, I've got a question about this. Hey, I'm a high school girl and I want to sit in this table here that says high school girls group. Cool, I'm going to pop in here. You run out of room here. You direct your people and say, hey, we'll open a room for you real quick. You can open a room and
Mhm.
have people just jump into the room. And this is literally just a meet and greet thing. This is not like, hey, we're going to actually do the group now. No, 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 no. This is just
Right.
literally what Maeve said, like the fair, the open house idea. The biggest kind of thing out of all of this is what we are calling kind of the community night, which is all of these things put together. And this is a perfect opportunity for you to invite friends, to invite coworkers if you're an adult with kids, if you're a teenager or you're a student, to invite people that may want to be part of this. They might not have a church home, they may be scared about digital church, but if you can design this well enough in a community night setting, then this is literally the culmination of everything that happens. Like I said,
Mhm.
hour and a half max. People don't want to be online for much longer than that anyway, because they got other stuff to do, and because staring at a computer screen or a phone is just interminable after that. But the idea is that you are plugging people in for the upcoming semester or the upcoming year if
Mhm.
you're going to do a full year long thing. What's next, Maeve?
Right. So the next one is we're calling it like a pep rally for social media, street teams, or other volunteer positions. And this would probably go best in an event space because one, a lot of people can sit together in rows, have that face to face interaction, talking about what's going on. I think this would work really well as a live stream or even a pre-recorded video of different people, different leaders in the church talking about the needs they have in their field, whether it be, graphic design team, marketing team, social media, stuff like that. So people in the event can say, oh, I didn't know that they needed that. That's one of my gifts. How can I help? And one, it brings you all together in one space, and it's a little bit more of a, not, I wouldn't want to say like a to do, but it's
Hmm.
like a more like, okay, this is very official, and I think the need for this is real. So maybe I'm going to invest my time. And I think it's one of those, we actually wrote a blog about this recently of how like to get the youth more involved. And I think once, like with like digital church stuff, and I think like youth in the church can be sometimes really underserved, but I think they have like a lot of gifts, especially in like the digital space. And so opening that door, being like, we see you, we need help, and we would love to like have you help us or volunteer your time with stuff like that, and opening it up to them, I think would be really helpful.
Hmm.
Do you want to add anything to that, Andy?
No, I mean the thing that you hit on, that the idea when we were kind of, and this is kind of a fringe idea. A lot of
Yeah.
times this is going to require a little bit of work on your part, you as the leader, to really dive into what your youth and your students are using social media for. I know in the church that I am a pastor at, a lot of the kids and teens, and even my own kids, are extremely active on Snapchat, and which is dangerous in and of itself. But they're also active on Instagram, and they're active less on Twitter, but a lot on Discord. All of those are technically social media platforms in the vaguest sense of the word. And the idea behind what you'd be doing with your pep rally is showing stories of life change. So this may require you to have a little bit of investment up front with people that are doing street teamy things, but you want to show stories and talk about ways that your students and even your parents can be empowered to share the news of Jesus Christ through their social media platforms. You want to show that even a simple tweet, even a simple like, a share, a post, anything can harm people and damage people, and how it can bring life and love and grace to people through Jesus Christ. And the idea behind the pep rally then is just like what happens in high school pep rallies. We've theoretically all been to them, and if you haven't, they're pretty self-explanatory. They're just trying to get you fired up for your school, for some event, some team, something. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get people fired up to go and use social media for the right reasons. Is that kind of a good capper on that?
That's awesome.
Cool.
That was, couldn't have said it better myself.
Fantastic. The last kind of one that we have is an easy one. We kind of always recommend it. Maeve and I are big proponents of prayer. We're big proponents of preparing your heart, preparing the way, preparing the field, so to speak, to get the word of the Lord planted in it. And we are big proponents of praying before everything. And none more than praying before the school year starts.
Yes.
So we recommend holding a prayer service event. And you can start in the event space like we are right now. Do a simple little live stream. It doesn't have to be overly produced. In fact, it's going to be better if it's taking prayer requests and things from the chat, or things that are happening in the rows below you as people are talking to each other, raising those prayer concerns to the Lord, really going before God and saying, hey, I want to prepare our students' hearts for this year. And then transferring, once that prayer service gets done, transferring over into the lobby for specific times of prayer. So just like you do at the end of a Sunday service, you can open a welcome table, you can open a meet the pastor table, you can open up, whatever, but also open those little intimate, and I know intimate's kind of a weird word online, but those little intimate times of prayer in these 4-person tables. And again, if you need to, you open up a room. We've got a prayer room here that holds up to 20 people. Great. But ideally, you've got hosts and greeters that are skilled in praying with people, and they're sitting and praying for specific concerns. I know going into school, a lot of parents are more and more scared every single year that something's going to happen to their kids. I know I am. I've got a kid in college, which is super scary in and of itself, but I've also got a junior, and I've got a 7th grader, and I'm scared that something's going to happen to them every single day that they, what did Frodo say? It's dangerous business walking out your front door. Like that's what, the philosopher Frodo Baggins, Bilbo Baggins said it. Sorry. The same idea applies here. And so we want to cover those kids with prayer. We want to cover our families with prayer. We want to cover our schools with prayer. What else, Maeve? Anything about the prayer service?
Yeah, I think beginning of the school year is such a, even though it happens every single year, it always seems like a big deal, and it is. And I think having that extra amount of encouragement and, having other people realize that people are praying for them makes
Huge.
such a big difference.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's huge. And honestly, it's not a make or break thing. It is a make thing. Like prayer is never going to break you. Prayers are never wasted. We're preaching to the choir right now, but the idea that you are going to go before your church and pray for your students for the upcoming year. I mean, it's one thing that just needs to happen. So out of the list of 7 things that we talked about today, try to make it a priority to pray with your students and for them. Make sure your parent leaders, your sponsors, your pastors and your hosts and your greeters all know, hey, we're going to be praying particularly for the school year coming up, because it is a weird and wacky time out there right now. It really is. And I commend people that are putting their kids into school for the first time. It's incredibly scary, but it's also very worth it. Man, we're spinning on a weird note right now. Hey, pick me up here. Let's talk about dogs again. How's that?
Yeah. Well, it'd be like, more prayer all around. Hug your dogs, like I said last week. I think hug your dog is always a good note.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. We are going to sign off right now for this episode. Links and show notes and blogs and all the things are going to be in the doodly-doo below. We would love to invite you to sign up for Altar Live with us as well. 14-day free trial, 30-day free. No, what is it? Yeah, 14-day free trial.
14-day. Yeah.
14 day. And we can always talk about implementation and all those other stuff. We'd love to have you join us in the Altar Live family, as well as kind of the community that we've been building around Digital Church. Maeve, have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You too.
I will try. Everybody out there, we love you. Thanks so much for being part of the fam. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.